Today, today is March 5th, 2015, and I have been posting some video clips about sexual harassment, rape, premeditated crimes that the United States government has committed with their employees. And the last person that I have been talking about, well, the last video clip that I made went over a few things about the MKUltra program, just that the fact that someone gave me some information that indicated I was in that program, and and then those documents were destroyed, were taken away and destroyed. Actually, at that moment, there were other destruction of document records and files, I'm sure, which supposedly occurred in 1977 when they had the MKUltra Senate hearings, but there was some preservation of records somewhere, and I still think that there is. I just think that they moved their records around. But anyway, that was the last video clip I made, but it was with regard and in reference to the different rapes that I've been talking about. And the last one that I've mentioned, or the last person that I've mentioned who was involved in that, is Mike Tancer. I'm not quite sure why I bring up his mother's maiden name, where with the other individuals I don't quite as much, although I have with Janet Bechtold, whose maiden name, well, actually no, I haven't with her, but I have talked about her side of the family in California. And I think that with Joy, it's just that I was around her a lot when I was a kid, and I met her parents, and so I know more about them than some of the other individuals and their families. So I haven't finished talking about what Mike did and some of the background history with that too. And that's what I think I will do right now. With, I guess, I talked about the different, now I haven't, it's been, almost a month since I've continued making these video clips. Well, I mean, not quite a month, but a couple of weeks. And I haven't gone back to review any of them and figure out where I left off. So I'm just going to sort of go by memory on where I think I approximately left off about Mike, and go from there. So I talked about a couple of different times that I met with him. The first time that I met him in this club, and didn't know who he was. And actually, the entire time that I was meeting him in any way, I didn't recognize who he was. I would have had no way to recognize him, because the last time I'd seen him, he was a little boy. And I didn't recognize the family name at all, because I had nothing to do with that family for a very, very long time. So, in the course of my working with the public and going to college and being in a church and meeting people all the time, I didn't necessarily just hear his name and then think of his family and everything that I went through when I was a kid. So, and I mentioned that one of the times, we met Hines, his friend Hines, who is the son of Teresa Hines and is John Kerry's stepson. And that one of the times that I was in his house, two individuals were leaving a different room in his house when I was in the bed. And those individuals appeared to me to have been there all along, unknown to me. I don't completely remember what they looked like. I think that one of them had blonde hair, very blonde hair. Not just light brown, but blonde. And I think that the other one had brown hair. And they're approximately the same height and stature, sort of lean looking medium to tall height young men with short hair. And so that happened, and then as I say, after he raped me a couple of times, he started calling me again, and I said that I didn't want him to call me, and I had left a ring at his house, my a sterling silver ring that had a green tourmaline stone in it, and I asked him if he would mail it back to me because I didn't want to be around him. And anyway, he wouldn't return my calls at that point. I mean, after all of this calling nonstop, he suddenly had my ring, and then he wasn't calling me back about returning that ring to me. So that bothered me. I left it alone for a while, but then, you know, when he just refused to call me about my property, I called again and left messages, and then I'd call again and leave another message, and he was just ignoring the fact that that he had my ring. So I started wondering what in the world he was doing with my ring. You know, I thought, does he think this is some sort of a valuable, like an emerald or something, and he's having it evaluated? I mean, why is he not calling me back about my ring? It's not that big of a deal, but it did have sentimental value because it was given to me by my Nana, who was like 99 years old when she gave it to me, and it was a graduation present. So, so finally, I left a message saying, if you don't return this ring or contact me about this, I'm going to have to take this to small claims court. And after I brought up small claims court and thinking, I don't believe this, you know, I'm going to have to go file a case with Multnomah County over my ring, you know. So after I brought that up, then all of a sudden he called, and he said, well, why don't, I'd like to, he said, I just wanted you to come over here, and I wanted to see you again. He said, I'd rather not mail it. And I said, you know, just put it in the mail. I don't want to go over there. I'm busy. I'm working on a lot of things, and there's no reason why you can't put it in the mail. Do you need me to pay for postage? I said, I will pay for the full postage of that, and give you my address, and you could mail it to me. And he was still refusing to mail this ring to me, and said that now he wanted to drop it off at my house, like at some point. And so basically, I said, he kept saying that he thought it would get lost in the mail, and he didn't want to be responsible for that. I don't remember what the excuse was, but something like that. And then I started thinking, well, I have been missing some mail, and sometimes I've had things happen to my mail, so I don't want that. Maybe the government would do something, and I don't want that to happen either. Well, you know.